1. Poets and Heroes. It matters because the story of Greek civilization begins when a group of Greek-speaking Indo-European people moved into Greece around 1900 BC. The Mycenaeans provided the inspiration for Homer's epics and paved the way for the political and cultural developments of Greece in the first millennium BC. The impact of geography. Guiding question: how did the geography of Greece contribute to its development? Geography played an important role in the development of Greek civilization. Compared with the land masses of Mesopotamia and Egypt, Greece occupies a small area. It consists of a mountainous peninsula and numerous islands that encompass approximately 50,000 square miles, about 129,500 square kilometers, of territory, about the size of the state of Louisiana. The mountains and the sea played especially significant roles in the development of Greek history. Two peninsulas make up much of the Greek landmass. The Isthmus of Corinth connects the Peloponnesian Peninsula to the mainland. About 80% of Greece is mountainous. Much of Greece consists of small plains and river valleys surrounded by mountain ranges from 8,000 to 10,000 feet, 2,438 to 3,048 meters high. These mountains isolated Greeks from one another, causing different Greek communities to develop their own ways of life. Over a period of time, these communities became fiercely independent and only too willing to fight one another to gain advantage. The sea also influenced the evolution of Greek society. The Aegean, Mediterranean, and Ionian seas make up the eastern, southern, and western borders of Greece. Its location on a peninsula gives Greece a long seacoast dotted by bays and inlets that provided many harbors. Although Greece is small, it has an 8,500-mile, 13,700-kilometer coastline. The ancient Greeks also lived on a number of islands to the west, south, and east of the Greek mainland. Surrounded by water, it was no accident that the Greeks became seafarers. They sailed out into the Aegean Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Black Sea, making contact with the outside world. Later, they established colonies that spread Greek civilization throughout the Mediterranean world. Mycenae, the first Greek state. Guiding question: what characterized the first Greek civilization of the Mycenaeans? The term Mycenaean comes from Mycenae, a fortified site on the Greek mainland that was first discovered by the German archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann. Mycenae was part of a Mycenaean Greek civilization that flourished between 1600 BC and 1100 BC. The Mycenaean Greeks were part of the Indo-European family of peoples who spread into Europe and Asia. One of these groups entered Greece around 1900 BC and gradually gained control of the Greek mainland. Mycenaean civilization, which reached its high point between 1400 BC and 1200 BC, was made of powerful monarchies. Each resided in a fortified palace center. Like Mycenae, these centers were built on hills and surrounded by gigantic stone walls. The monarchies in these various centers of power probably formed a loose alliance of independent states. While the royal families lived within the walls of these complexes, the civilian populations lived scattered outside the walls. Among the noticeable features of the Mycenaean centers were the beehive-shaped tombs in which members of the royal families were buried. The Mycenaeans were, above all, a warrior people who prided themselves on their heroic deeds in battle. Mycenaean wall murals often show war and hunting scenes. Archaeological evidence also indicates that the Mycenaean monarchies developed an extensive commercial network. Mycenaean pottery has been found throughout the Mediterranean area, in Syria and Egypt to the east, and Sicily and southern Italy to the west. However, some historians believe that the Mycenaeans, led by Mycenae itself, also spread outward militarily, conquering Minoan Crete and making it part of the Mycenaean world. The most famous of all their supposed military adventures is recounted in the poetry of Homer. According to Homer, Mycenaean Greeks, led by Agamemnon, king of Mycenae, sacked, plundered the city of Troy on the northwestern coast of Asia Minor around 1250 BC. Did this event really occur? Ever since the excavations of Schliemann, begun in 1870, scholars have debated this question. Many believe that Homer's account of the attack on Troy is based on fact. By the late 13th century BC, Mycenaean Greece was showing signs of serious trouble. Mycenaean states fought one another, and major earthquakes caused widespread damage. In the 12th century BC, new waves of Greek-speaking invaders moved into Greece from the north. By 1100 BC, Mycenaean civilization had collapsed. Progress check. Making inferences. What do the fortified palaces of the Mycenaean monarchs suggest about Mycenaean civilization? Greeks in the Dark Age. Guiding question. What events occurred in ancient Greece during the Dark Age? After the collapse of Mycenaean civilization, Greece entered a difficult period in which the population declined and food production dropped. Historians call the period from approximately 1100 BC to 750 BC the Dark Age, because few records of what happened exist. Not until 850 BC did the basis for a new Greece begin to form. Changes of the Dark Age. During the Dark Age, many Greeks left the mainland and sailed across the Aegean Sea to various islands. Many went to the western shores of Asia Minor, a strip of territory that came to be called Ionia, or Ionian Greece, in modern-day Turkey. Two other major groups of Greeks settled in established parts of Greece. The Aeolian Greeks of northern and central Greece colonized the large island of Lesbos and the territory near the mainland. The Dorians established themselves in southwestern Greece, especially in the Peloponnese, as well as on some of the southern Aegean islands. There was a revival of some agriculture, trade, and economic activity during the Dark Age. The use of iron was central to this revival. Iron replaced bronze in weaponry, making weapons affordable for more people. Furthermore, iron farming tools helped reverse the decline in food production. At some point in the 8th century BC, the Greeks adopted the Phoenician alphabet to give themselves a new system of writing. By reducing all words to a combination of 24 letters, the Greeks made learning to read and write simpler. The work of Homer, one of the great poets of all time, appeared near the end of the Dark Age. Homer, poet of the Dark Age. The Iliad and the Odyssey were the first great epic poems of early Greece. An epic poem is a long poem that tells the deeds of a great hero. The Iliad and the Odyssey were based on stories that had been passed down from generation to generation. Homer used stories of the Trojan War to compose the Iliad and the Odyssey. The war is caused by Paris, a prince of Troy. By kidnapping Helen, the wife of the king of the Greek state of Sparta, Paris outraged the Greeks. Under the leadership of the Spartan king's brother, King Agamemnon, the Greeks attacked Troy. 10 years later, they finally won and burned the city to the ground. The Iliad is not so much the story of the war itself, however, as it is the tale of the Greek hero Achilles, and how the anger of Achilles led to disaster. The Odyssey recounts the journeys of one of the Greek heroes, Odysseus, after the fall of Troy, and his ultimate return to his wife. It has long been considered Homer's other masterpiece. Homer proved to be of great value to later Greeks. He did not so much record history, he created it. The Greeks looked on the Iliad and the Odyssey as true history, and as the works of one poet, Homer. These masterpieces gave the Greeks an ideal past with a cast of heroes. The epics came to be used as basic texts for the education of generations of Greek males. As one ancient Athenian stated, "My father was anxious to see me develop into a good man, and as a means to this end, he compelled me to memorize all of Homer." The values Homer taught were courage and honor. A hero strives for excellence, which the Greeks called arete. Arete is won in a struggle or contest. Through his willingness to fight, the hero protects his family and friends, preserves his own honor and that of his family, and earns his reputation. Homer gave to later generations of Greek males a model of heroism and honor.